Wait, are we live? Hello? Is this thing on there? Hello? 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 Is it? Hello? Oh, we on? Okay. How you doing, everybody? I'm still not used to this new streaming thing that we have to use now because Google Plus was like, nope, not today. Or
Google Plus was tired of our GGs.
what?
I said Google Plus was tired of our GGs.
Yeah, GG Google Plus, whatever. Um, but we wanted to come on talk about some football, not the NFL. Because that ended, and we got new Super Bowl champion. Well, not new Super Bowl champions, but like it's been a minute since they won the Super Bowl. But
Been
we got
about a week.
the Kansas City Chiefs. What?
Been about a week.
But before that, it been like 50 years.
Well, yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, it's been.
It been a minute, yeah. It been a minute. But no, we wanted to come on and talk about the XFL. Yesterday or this past weekend was the opening weekend for the XFL. The new XFL, not the original XFL that didn't really work out as well as Vince McMahon thought it was going to. But it did give us things that we'll never forget. Like he hate me. They need to bring. That's one thing I wish that they brought back, allowing the players to use whatever name they wanted, because that was classic. Um, but anyway, like I said, this past weekend was opening weekend. I thought it was pretty good, and from everyone that I've talked to and all of the reports that I've seen, everybody seems to love it. It went over really well. We're kind of just going to go over our thoughts on it. I am going to go over the games a little bit. Kind of my predictions because I had some predictions. It's kind of hard because it's a brand new league, brand new teams. I heard that they had scrimmages and things like that leading up to the season, but I hadn't seen anything. And a lot of these guys are guys that were formerly in the NFL or, you know, didn't make it to the NFL. So it was kind of hard to really judge which teams you thought really were going to be underdogs. And I mean, they said, certain teams were underdogs, but it's kind of really hard to tell unless you kind of, have seen them. But for our first game of the weekend was the Seattle Dragons versus DC Defenders. I had DC winning, and they did. So I started off my weekend strong. I was happy. I was good. Then we had the LA Wildcats, which is the most generic name ever. Ever. That is literally like 3,000 high school teams ever. And they were like, you know what? Let's be the Wild. Versus the Houston Roughnecks, which is honestly not that much better. It really isn't. I had LA.
That's a good name.
It's okay. I had LA winning. They did not. They lost 17-37. Yeah, they done lost. And then for the Sunday games, we had the Tampa Bay Vipers. Yes, I can still do it. Versus the New York Guardians. I had New York winning, and they did 23-7. Or no, 23-3. That's even worse. 23-3, bro. You only got bruh. And then St. Louis Battlehawks. I still don't know what a Battlehawk is.
So Tampa Bay Bay is just like the other Tampa Bay Bay.
As for right now, they are. Maybe it's just something in the water. I don't know. So we had St. Louis Battlehawks versus the Dallas Renegades, because that one's good. I had St. Louis winning, and they did. So I was pretty good this weekend. I was pretty good. I picked really well. I did. Any thoughts on any of the games, just in general, before we kind of get into like the league, the rules, play, things like that?
Yeah, from the games I watched, I think I watched the two better games. Well, there was one that ended up being, I think, a two possession game because I think it was DC because I think they scored a little bit they scored late and made it a two possession game. But that was a one possession game, and then the first game on Sunday, I think it was. No, the second game on Sunday is the one that I watched because it was the better game. Um, that game was good, but I don't know. I kind of want to find a team to root for, but I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't watched enough yet. I think I'm looking for like players that I know, so I can be like, yeah, that's my guy. And there's a couple of them that I know, but Connor Cook's not starting, so can't really cheer for that team now. But nonetheless,
Wait,
I do like to be, huh?
what team is Cook on? What?
Connor Cook is on. I don't remember, but he's not starting. So
Oh,
um, but I do like I like DC so far because I like Cardell Jones. I like them so far because I really do like Cardell Jones. I liked him in college. He always had like high praise since he came in. I think it was his junior year or whatever it was. Um, he always had high praise, so I really liked him. And I kind of leaning towards DC right now, but I haven't seen all the teams play yet. I don't even know who everybody has. So, but I thought it was good. It was a good first week. I don't want to get too much into what I thought of the actual in game and on field and production aspect of things until we kind of get into that. So,
okay. Oh, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to go all in it? Get all up in there.
I mean, I'm just gonna wait it out.
But yeah, kind of the same with me. I'm kind of leaning towards the Guardians right now, New York Guardians, just because Matt McGloin is a quarterback for them, and he is basically from my hometown. So you got to go for your hometown boys. But yeah, it's kind of hard because I don't even want to say any of the teams are terrible yet, just from these four games, because you really can't say that. You know,
You did have a team that had 3 points.
yeah, but Tampa Bay could blow out the next team. You never know. You never listen. We don't got the crab legs. We don't got to worry about that. We ain't got the crab
I
belly.
mean, but Jameis is balling. Did you hear him? If he cuts out the interceptions, the man, I mean, he's balling with turnovers. So if he cuts out the turnovers, I mean, that's like words to live by. Jameis Winston has two statements to live by. I'm balling even with 30 interceptions and eat the W.
Okay. Anyway, so kind of getting into we're not gonna go like super into like all the rules because I don't remember every single little like nuance of the XFL, like the differences, but a couple of things that I liked that I think is good, and hopefully the NFL adopts these eventually. Because wait, oh he talking. DJ Mama, DJ Mama. Um, I like the opening kickoff where this man not even paying attention to this man. Anyway, so uh the lines are at the 40, I think. So basically you have to wait until the kicker kicks off the ball and then they can move. So it's kind of going to eliminate a lot of the like injuries on kickoffs, which is definitely a good thing. And then I also like the extra point options. They don't go for field goals anymore. Basically, you can go from I forgot if it's I can never remember.
It's the 2 for 1 point. It's the 5 for 2, and it's the 10 for 3 points. That's what it is.
Yeah. I like that. That's kind of a different way of doing it. Kind of really having to earn the extra points. Whereas, like, not saying that getting a field goal isn't hard, but it really makes you work for it and gives you the option. And I think it like they were saying, it helps you kind of if you're in the fourth quarter and you're real behind, you can get a chance to make it an easier game for you to come back. So that's kind of cool that you get those options. But any thoughts on the kickoff or the field goal or the elimination of the field goal, I should say?
Um, I like that. I don't know how many other rules we're going to get into. If you remember any of them, I don't. I only ones I can think of right now is overtime. But I don't even really remember. Well, I think it's like 5 possessions each, and whoever gets the farthest wins, something like that. It's something crazy. Like no. It's like it's almost like college overtime where you have to score back to back to back, and
Yeah,
whoever gets in after. Yeah, but I like that. That's a cool rule. I do like the kickoff. At first it's kind of weird because they're so close together and you're like, well, what's this gonna do? But then once you see them actually kick it off and like they won't let you kick it short or anything like that, so that's interesting. I think the most interesting part is going to be like onside kicks and stuff like that. How are they like? Is there onside kicks? How you pull that off? Is there any way like so? Let's just say I'm down and I kind of need to get the ball back, but I don't have time to. I only get 2 timeouts anyway, so I don't have time to get the ball back. How do I get the ball back on the kickoff, or if I can, or what? And I know they have different rules too, where and when it's under 2 minutes or something like that. I don't know if they have a 2 minute warning, but I know when it's under 2 minutes,
yeah,
the clock stops every time there's some sort of play until they spot the ball, and then they're back at it. So that's pretty interesting. I kind of like that. It in a way it takes away from some of the intrigue, I guess, of like having to like race against the clock, but it's kind of cool too because it gives you a couple of extra timeouts, gives you a little bit of extra time to kind of get set and not rush into things. So that's kind of cool. As far as the extra point system, I like that. I don't think any of us really care about extra points anyway. They extended them back, so that kind of in the NFL they extended them back, so kind of made it a little bit more interesting. But I think having to run some sort of play to score is kind of always cool. It always feels like you said, they're actually earning it because um, even from the one, it's not necessarily easy. The one thing that I like about the XFL, and I guess we're going to talk about how much they're mic'd up to at some point. But the one of the things I like about the XFL is that it doesn't differ enough from what we're used to where like you don't want to watch it. Like I think sometimes like people try these new things and even like with arena football and indoor football, like I don't personally like indoor football. I just don't enjoy watching it because it just feels so much different than the norm. And I think we've just gotten so used to the norm, and what the XFL does is it's very normal. I think that's why I like the CFL too. Is there's these little nuances and these little changes, but it's still normal football. It still feels like you can enjoy it for what it is football. Um,
yeah, yeah. And I was actually going to get right into the mic'd up aspects, which I think is a good thing. Um,
it's too much though, ain't it? Don't you think?
that's the other thing I was going into. So basically, um, obviously, the quarterback is mic'd up. I think the NFL all quarterbacks are mic'd up. Have like the receiver in their helmet, but also in the XFL, all the skill positions are mic'd up. So there's not as much talking on the line, which was kind of weird for me at first because like you're so used to the quarterback like selling the play to all the players and stuff like that, where the receivers are going to get it right in their helmets too. Running backs are getting it right in their helmets. The only ones that aren't getting it is the
You
linemen.
don't get as much of a huddle in the XFL.
Yeah,
Like that'd be like kind of a muddle huddle type thing where like because what happened because for clarification's sake, I guess because this is what I heard in one of the games. They said that the coach can talk to the quarterback and the wide receivers, and I think the running back too at the same time. So
yeah,
then you don't have to necessarily huddle if you don't want to. I mean, you still can,
yeah,
but it's supposed to, I guess, speed up the game or something. They said.
yeah. And I feel like it did. I feel like it did speed up at least the plays. There wasn't as much, in between. There was one of the games, I forgot which one. The headset wasn't working for the head coach or something. There have been technical difficulties, which I mean you expect some sort of technical difficulties there was issues with the interviews and mics and stuff weren't working for certain interviews. So I mean, and that's just things you expect. I'm sure DJ will get into more of the production side because that's kind of his thing. The only thing, and like I said, everything is pretty much mic'd up. The refs are mic'd up, which is kind of cool, but I felt like at the same time it was a little bit awkward. Like, especially when they were reviewing plays, you're just kind of like sitting there listening in, and you're like, okay, this is cool for like the first couple times, but then it's like, it's kind of like it's just awkward to me a little bit, and I'm maybe we'll get used to it, but and it's kind of cool to kind of listen in and be like, okay, the reasoning as to why this penalty was called or that penalty was called, and you can actually watch them like review in the booth, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that. But thoughts on the being mic'd up or any of that stuff?
Yeah, I think the hard part coming from a production standpoint of miking everything up is there's certain times where you got to turn some mics off, and when you forget, it's kind of weird. Because like there were things that like would overlap during the game. Like sometimes like you would hear the referee while the quarterback is calling the play, or like the coach is calling in a play or something, and that was weird. At times that was kind of like a weird part of it. But I mean, I liked the mic'd up thing, but like I told you, it kind of felt like at times it was too much. At times there were times where it just felt like for whatever reason it was too much. Just because like there were times where like somebody would like maybe would like even get hurt or something, and like you could hear everything, like everything. There were times when I thought the crowd was mic'd up really well. I don't know what exactly they're doing to mic them up, but I expected that from a WWE production, a WWE like style for coming from the creators of WWE. You expect that to be mic'd up pretty well. They did a good job with that. I felt like sometimes what was awkward was like the what was awkward, but also was kind of cool was like the after the big play interview. So after somebody got a touchdown. After somebody recovered a fumble, or one time they interviewed somebody after he missed a kick. I'm sure that was awkward. And then one time they interviewed somebody after either they couldn't pick the ball back up or something like that. And this dude was so mad, like he was dropping F-bombs and everything, and like the the mic guy is trying to like cut him off, like, but you can't because. I think that's something that they're going to have to figure out too, is how to keep the players from like just saying whatever they want to on live TV, because players aren't used to it. You're not used to being like somebody after you freaking make a stupid play, interviewer right in your face like, oh, well, how stupid was that? Well, obviously it was, so like so like there were some times where the interviews were kind of weird because like it was like, why are you interviewing me? Go interview him. He caught the pick or something. Like it's like but I liked it in the same time because there were times where like someone would get injured and it was minor. I don't know what they'll do about major injuries, but somebody got injured and it was minor, and they went and talked to the guy who got injured, and he was just kind of like, yeah, I just kind of twisted it up a little bit. We're good, and I'll be back out there or whatever. I don't know how that is about how that is with coaches. I don't know how that, because some coaches like to kind of keep that under wraps a little bit. If somebody is injured and it's bad, or somebody's injured and it's not, just to kind of keep you guessing a little bit. So that might get annoying a little bit. Also, another cool thing was the locker room thing. They went to a locker room at halftime and kind of interviewed people and listened to the halftime, listen to those speeches and whatnot. So that was kind of cool. That was interesting to see. But I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't get to see Pat McAfee do his little sideline reporting. I heard it was really good though. I'll have to wait till next week or something, or maybe try to find the rerun, because I do want to see what he was like, because I think he was supposed to do commentary originally, and then they thought he'd be better sideline reporter. So
he is fantastic.
I've heard he's pretty darn good.
I want him literally at every game on the sidelines. I love Pat. Like, and this isn't even me being a Colts fan and loving Pat McAfee because he's a former Colt. This dude is hilarious. Like, there was one point where like he was like I'm being yelled at to get off the field after being told to be more aggressive. I was like, bruh, I love this man. But yeah, I love the, after big play interviews, especially the ones where they're like, you just fumbled that ball and they recovered it and went for a pick six. What could you have done better? It's just like no chill. They don't care. They're gonna ask the hard question. Like I love it. But yeah, what else was there? I had a couple things that I was gonna Also, I like that, they didn't really mention WWE at all. They mentioned Vince McMahon here and there, like a handful of times. Like one of the players was saying that, Vince gave him the opportunity, blah, whatever, which is cool. But it wasn't like overshadowed by WWE. It wasn't like, oh, WWE's XFL or Vince McMahon's XFL. It was just the XFL.
Was that a big difference between the previous? Because I don't remember the previous a lot. Was it like, what were the biggest differences, I guess, that you saw?
From what I remember the first game, like the first game of the XFL, there was, Vince McMahon came out to the midfield and did this whole like Vince McMahon promo thing, and there was fireworks and everything. And it was all about like, oh, it's going to be hard hitting, badass football, blah, 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 which just isn't a good thing. It's just not.
Yeah, speaking of hits, there were some big hits.
There were.
Too. I was like there was one I was like, whoa. Like that was something I wasn't used to seeing. Like some of the hits that we saw, like, but they were legal. Like they have a legal, like.
Yeah. And I like that there aren't as many like flags and penalties. Like they're not gonna flag every little thing because at the end of the day, it's football. You're gonna get hit. You're not. Come on. One of my favorites that I saw, and I don't know if you saw the video of this going around because it's been going around on Facebook for a little bit now. There was one hit where the guy hit I think it was the running back. Stopped him, and he goes for a pose like flexing his muscles. The dude who got tackled rolls over and does push-ups. I was like, bruh. I'm gonna have to send you that. That was funny. But another thing that I just thought was weird, especially coming from a product of Vince McMahon. Obviously, we know Vince McMahon. He's the kind of person that everything he does is going to be the best, and he's going to tell you it's the best, and he's gonna make sure it's the best. One thing I thought was weird was like they kept saying a lot that like, oh, these guys are all guys who are trying to get back to the NFL or trying to get to the NFL, and I'm like, so are you saying this is just a D League or like a developmental or like? I would think like something that Vince McMahon made, he would want to be like, hey, this is the XFL. This is the best. This is the new, football. And that was just weird.
I think what it was, I think it has something to do with when they play. Like because they play in the off season of the NFL, I think that's why they mentioned that so much because they don't. I don't remember when they play. I think they played in the off season of the NFL the last time they had it too, but. I think that's what it has to do with. It has to do with the when they play. So I think when they play, really, that's why. I guess that's why they mentioned it so much. It was cool that they mentioned the NFL, because we talked about this before too. A lot of times you won't hear like Ring of Honor or Impact or whatever on WWE programming. So it's kind of cool that you got to, and I guess you kind of have to when you're like a new league. To kind of for people to know where these people came from and know that they're actually legit football players, not just random people you pulled off the street. So I guess in a way you kind of have to do that.
And that was one of the big like differences that I felt from like the original XFL is it felt like the original XFL felt like just some random guys that they picked off the street and like some of them were, well, from formerly from the NFL. Some of them were from out of college, but it felt like all of them were just random guys they picked. Whereas this new XFL, it's legit. They were talking about the colleges that these guys went to. Talking about former NFL teams that they were on, whether they were on the active roster or if they were on the practice squad, whatever. They were still mentioning that. So like this is a legit football league. Like they're trying to be an actual football league, not a big gimmicky thing.
Yeah, I don't know who they had on commentary either right off, but I think that helps too. It always helps to have people that and I don't know if that's something that like maybe I could have swore I heard the Gumbo guy on one of the games. I could have swore I heard him.
Yeah.
And like I don't think he calls a whole lot of games, so that might be something because I don't think I heard anybody that I'm used to hearing on the games, but I didn't watch all of them. So I don't know if that's an agreement they have maybe with the NFL that they won't use the same commentary teams, or something like that. Because like I just for some reason I like the commentary, but I wasn't hearing a lot of the guys that I was used to hearing. But it was good. It was nice to hear the Gumbo guy because he's a pretty big big name. So he was one of those guys that it was cool to hear because you felt like it was a big deal because he was out there. I would maybe even try to reach out to the guy who does Madden too. I don't know where he works exactly, but that might be a good one too because you're used to hearing that, and then that might be an issue too because it's an NFL game and then stuff like that. So,
well, I mean, there were definitely guys that I like that from like that have experience. I can't remember off the top of my head who were in doing some of the commentary for some of the games, but they were guys that like you would know they were established. It wasn't just some random people that they threw on there. So that's something good. And I don't know if it was like you said an agreement with NFL or if they're just using Fox, Fox commentators or ABC or NBC, whatever, ESPN. But that was kind of cool to actually hear voices that you know and can kind of trust in a way. But there was a few other kind of little things that I wanted to mention, just that I thought was cool. Is I was looking at the schedule just to kind of see what games were coming up, trying to see if I would be able to get to any of them because I would definitely like to go to a XFL game. I think that would be cool. The closest is going to be New York Guardians, which ironically was the team that I picked with Matt McGloin in New Jersey. Well, they're playing New Jersey, but New York, whatever, at MetLife, which is kind of cool. But one thing I really thought was cool, and I'm assuming it's just going to be for the opening season because if this picks up and they have a second season and it keeps going, I'm sure the prices are going to go up. But the ticket prices are not bad at all. They were really, really good. Like even for like season tickets, I'm going to try to pull up to get the exact numbers or the prices and everything, but they were not bad. I think like they have different tiers and stuff. So let me try to see if I can find it real quick. If it'll show it on the app. Yeah, season tickets. So, and like, if you've ever looked at like season tickets for the NFL, they're easily in the thousands, so it's ridiculous. But like, so like the gold tier, which is the highest tier you can get for the season tickets for XFL, are only $575. And that's for like the whole season. Like you get season tickets. That's not bad at all. So yeah, I was looking at the tickets, and they're not bad prices at all. Like you could easily, have money to go to an XFL game. I've even gone to like NFL like season ticket, games, and they're expensive by themselves. So I hope that they keep it like that. They keep the ticket prices low because that'll help a lot of fans like be able to actually go to the games, especially for a newer league. I think even like for the next season, if they get another season, hopefully it keeps going, and it's not just like the original one and done. But saying, you know, I hope that they keep the prices low going forward, because that would be definitely something cool. You could put more prices into like merchandise, put the prices into like jerseys and hats and stuff like that, and you'll more than make up for the low ticket prices. I think that would be a good thing. Go Defenders. Okay. All right. Okay. I got you. I see you. Okay. 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 Another thing, and this is my kind of final point that I wrote down. I'm sure we can talk a little bit more about other things if you have anything you wanted to talk about more. One thing I thought was cool, and I don't know if everyone noticed this. They mentioned it in one of the games, but each team has their own like custom footballs. So with their team colors on it that they specifically use for each possession, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, the part that I liked about that is if you get a turnover, you can keep the ball.
Yeah.
The defensive lineman, I can't remember what it was. I think he recovered a fumble or something. He was like, "Yeah, this one's going home with me."
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. That each team has their own their colored ball, which was kind of cool. But any other thoughts you wanted to add on to?
Not yet. I don't think. I'm still, like I said, I'm still trying to figure out because I like the Defenders. I think so far as my teams. I do like the Renegades with Andrew Jones. I like those. I like I like them too. I just don't. I don't know. Like the Defenders were just the team that I really liked because of Cardell Jones. So I guess I'll kind of figure out who my team is in the next little bit. Plus, I guess they are the closest to me. They couldn't put a team in Virginia as usual, but nonetheless, I think that's what I'm going with. I think.
Yeah. And I hope that they, again, this is going on whether the first season goes well. If they have, more seasons, hopefully they do. Fingers crossed, because so far it's good. I hope they do add more teams, because there's only 8 teams right now, which is okay. But I think add a couple more teams. I don't know, put a team in Pennsylvania, maybe. Put one in Virginia. Why does no professional team have anything in Virginia? What's wrong with Virginia? I mean, come on now. You know, I just, like I said, but add more teams. To kind of fill up more areas. But yeah, I thought from week one it was good. Maybe we'll do weekly discussions on XFL, possibly. We got to get more videos out. We got to get more content. We keep wanting to come back. We have some videos coming up. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor coming up soon.
How you should have stayed in Ring of Honor.
What?
We're going to also talk about how you should have stayed in Ring of Honor.
Yes. You should have stayed in Ring of Honor. So we're going to talk about that. I'm sure we have some other videos coming up. I'm sure we could talk about the return of Edge, which was huge. We thought his career was overdone. And then we could talk about the greatest return in Royal Rumble history, Santino Marella. She should have won.
Just an update for you guys as well. I watched AEW yesterday. I know it's a little bit late, and I enjoyed it. So we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there.
All right. Okay. All right. But I think that kind of wraps up the week one discussion of the XFL. Like I said, hopefully, maybe we could do this weekly. It's only a 10-week season, which isn't that bad. So I think we could make it. If we don't invite everyone that we invite to picks for the NFL.
Anyway, so it doesn't really.
Then we can still invite them. They won't show up. All right. Well, we will be back soon. Not sure exactly when, but soon for another video. Probably the Ring of Honor or something video. But be sure to follow us on Twitter, the podcast at ICW_podcast. DJ doesn't put his personal handle there because he don't. That's pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, if I put my personal handle there and you put your personal handle there, then no one will go follow the podcast. So, hey,
You put both. There's room. They'll fit.
there's certainly not room.
It'll fit. I think it'll fit. Just don't put your name. Yeah.
They need to know.
All right. Follow us on Twitter at ICW_podcast. It's right up. Right up. This throws me off. Because, like, I'm pointing to it, but I'm not. So I got to point to where it's not to point to where it is. It's over there. So follow it there. And then we will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh, yeah. I'm going to do that from now on. The flippity dippity. Oh, yeah. You did that word. Flippity. Oh, yeah. You can end this video anytime. Flippity